Alina Rose never believed in demons. She believed in late nights, empty streets, and the quiet loneliness that followed her everywhere. That was why she didn't scream when she felt someone watching her from the shadows outside her apartment. She turned and saw him, tall, inhumanly still. His presence bent the air, like reality itself was holding its breath. His eyes were dark crimson, glowing softly, not with rage, but hunger. "You're staring," Alina said, forcing calm into her voice. The man stepped into the dim streetlight. "I have waited a long time to meet you," he said. His voice slid over her skin like heat. "Do I know you?" she asked. He smiled. "No, but I know you." His name was Azael. He told her he wasn't human on the third night they met, and by then it was already too late. Azael was a devil bound to human realm, feeding not on blood, but on desire, on longing, on love. And Alina's soul burned brighter than most. "You should stay away from me," he told her once, standing too close. "I destroy what I touch." Alina laughed softly. "Funny, you're the first thing that's made me feel alive." That night, rain trapped him inside her apartment. Thunder shook the windows. Candlelight danced across his sharp features, the faint shadow of horns flickering behind him when he lost control. She noticed. "You're not normal," she whispered. Azael stepped back. "If I stay, I'll hurt you." She closed the distance herself. Her fingers brushed his chest. The reaction was instant. Dark energy surged through the room. Azael's breath hitched as if her touch burned, and he wanted more. "Alina," he warned. She looked up at him, eyes fearless. "Then don't lie to me. Tell me what you are." Azael cupped her face, his touch trembling. "I'm a devil," he said, "and if I fall in love with you, I'll be ordered to kill you." Silence. Then Alina leaned up and kissed him, soft at first, curious, dangerous. The world cracked. Azael groaned low in his throat, gripping her waist as if holding back a storm. The kiss deepened, not desperate, but heavy with want. Her heart raced. His pulse thundered beneath her lips. For the first time in centuries, Azael felt desire without hunger. When he pulled away, his eyes were glowing. "This will be your death," he said. Alina smiled, breathless. "Then stay." And he did. For weeks he stayed. They kissed in shadows, in moonlight, in silence heavy with things never spoken. His touch was always controlled, careful, as if one mistake would shatter her. But heaven and hell were watching. One night, Azael woke screaming. The order had come. Claim her soul. End her life. He stood over Alina as she slept, tears burning his eyes. "I love you," he whispered. And love, for a devil, was a death sentence. Alina began to notice the changes before Azael said a word. It was in the way shadows followed him more closely now, stretching unnaturally along walls. In the way mirrors sometimes refused to reflect him fully. And most of all, in the way he touched her like time was running out. Their kisses grew slower, deeper, heavy with unspoken fear. Azael stood at the window of her apartment one night, watching the city bleed light into darkness. Alina wrapped her arms around his waist from behind, pressing her cheek to his back. "You're drifting away," she murmured. He stiffened. "I'm trying not to," he said. She turned him to face her. His eyes were darker now, red buried beneath something almost black. "Tell me the truth," she said softly. "The whole truth." Azael's jaw tightened. "If I do, you'll hate me." "I already love you," she replied. "So try again." The word love cut deeper than any blade. Azael lifted her hand and pressed a kiss to her knuckles, lingering longer than necessary. "Devils are not allowed to love humans," he said. "Desire is permitted. Attachment is not. And love," Alina asked, "love is punished." She searched his face. "How?" Azael closed his eyes. "With orders." Silence filled the room. Alina swallowed. Orders to do what? He looked at her then, really looked, and for a moment his disguise slipped. Horns curved faintly from his temples. Shadows crawled across the ceiling. "To end you," he said. Her breath caught, but she didn't pull away. "When?" she whispered. "Soon." Her fingers tightened in his shirt. And if you refuse, Azael laughed bitterly. Then hell will come for you itself. The truth settled between them like a loaded weapon. Alina leaned forward and kissed him. Not rushed, not frightened, intentional. Azael groaned, gripping her hips as if grounding himself. His control was thinning. She could feel in the way his body trembled, in the heat that radiated from his skin. "You shouldn't touch me like this," he said against her lips. "Then stop me," she whispered. He didn't. He kissed her back, harder this time, hunger bleeding into need. Her back met the wall. His hand came up beside her head, caging her in, but never hurting, never crossing the line he feared. Their breaths tangled. Her heart raced. "I want you," she said quietly. Azael froze. Desire flared violently through him, dark magic surging beneath his skin. He pressed his forehead to hers, shaking. "If I take you completely," he whispered, "it will bind you to me, body, soul." Alina's voice was steady. "I'm already yours." That night, they lay together tangled in sheets, skin warm against skin, breath sinking in the dark. There was no rush, only closeness, fingers tracing scars, lips brushing necks, the kind of intimacy that felt dangerous because it was real. For the first time in centuries, Azael slept and dreamed. He dreamed of Hellfire Gates opening, of chains, of a throne calling his name. When he woke, Alina was watching him. "You were crying," she said, brushing her thumb under his eye. He covered her hand with his. "I don't deserve you." "Good," she replied softly. "Neither do most things worth loving." The next evening, the air turned heavy. The lights flickered. The shadows sharpened. Azael felt it immediately. They had found him. The mark appeared on his chest without warning. A burning sigil of command. He gasped, dropping to one knee. "Azael!" Alina rushed to him. "Don't touch it," he warned, pain ripping through his voice. "It's a summons." Her eyes filled with fear. "What does it mean?" "It means time is over." The sigil flared bright crimson. "Claim the soul. Spill the blood. Return." Azael looked up at her, eyes blazing with agony. "They want you dead by my hand." Alina knelt in front of him, cradling his face. "Then don't let them take you from me." He shook his head. "If I don't do this, they'll do worse." "Like what?" His voice dropped to a whisper. "They'll make me enjoy it." Alina's heart cracked, but she smiled through the fear. "Then love me while you still can," she said, "before the devil wins." Azael pulled her into his arms, holding her like it might be the last time, because it was. The city felt wrong that night. The air was too still, like the world itself was holding its breath. Azael felt hell's pull in his bones, an invisible chain tightening with every passing second. The order burned beneath his skin, pulsing with cruel patience. Alina sensed it too. She stood by the window, watching streetlights flicker below, her reflection faint in the glass. When she turned to face him, her eyes were calm, but knowing. "They're close," she said. Azael nodded. "By dawn they'll come." She crossed the room slowly, barefoot on cold floor, and placed her hands on his chest, right over the glowing sigil. The mark hissed beneath her touch, but did not burn her. "You're shaking," she whispered. "I'm afraid," he admitted. "Not of hell, of myself." Alina leaned in, resting her forehead against his. "Then stay here, with me, tonight." He closed his eyes. For devils, time was infinite. For humans, it was everything. They didn't rush. They undressed each other like every movement mattered, like memory itself was being carved into skin. Fingers traced scars. Lips brushed shoulders, collarbones, throats. Every touch was heavy with restraint, with one held carefully in check. Azael kissed her slowly, deeply, as if trying to memorize the shape of her breath. Alina's hand slid into his hair, pulling him closer, grounding him. "You don't have to protect me from this," she murmured. "I chose you." He kissed her again, harder this time, knee breaking through control. The room darkened as shadows crept along the walls, responding to his rising hunger. But he stopped, always stopped. He pressed his forehead to hers, breath ragged. If I cross the final line, I will bind your soul to mine. Even death won't free you. Alina cupped his face. Then don't let death be the end. They lay together afterward, tangled in sheets, skin warm, hearts racing in the dark. His wings, usually hidden, flickered into existence briefly, shadows brushing the ceiling. They'll never stop hunting us, he said quietly. Alina smiled faintly. I know. She shifted, lay her head on his chest, listening to the unnatural rhythm of his heart. Azael, if it comes down to it, if the only way to end this is to choose. No, he cut in sharply. She looked up at him. Listen to me. He hesitated. I would rather die loved, she said, than live knowing you became a monster for me. Pain tore through him. You think killing you would save me? He whispered. It would damn me forever. A low rumble echoed outside. Thunder or something worse. The sigil on his chest flared violently. They were here. The walls trembled as a presence pressed against reality itself. Shadows pulled in the corners, whispering his name. Azael! He stood, pulling Alina up with him. His eyes burned brighter now, crimson edged with black. They're forcing the choice, he said. If I don't act, they will. Alina reached up and kissed him. Soft, steady, certain. For what it's worth, she said, voice barely above a whisper, loving you was the bravest thing I ever did. The room split open. Hell's emissaries watching the tear between worlds, unseen but felt. The command thundered through his mind. Kill her. Claim her soul. Return. Azael held Alina close, breathing her in one last time. I'm sorry, he whispered. She smiled, and that smile destroyed him. Dark magic surged, not wild but focused, controlled. A single, precise strike meant to be quick. Merciful. Alina gasped softly, fingers tightening in his coat. Azael, she breathed. He caught her as her knees buckled, lowering her gently to the floor. Blood stained his hands. Her eyes never left his. I'm not afraid, she whispered. Then her body went still. The command faded. Hell fell silent. Azael screamed, not in triumph, but in absolute ruin. He pressed his forehead to hers, shaking, tears burning down his face as the mark on his chest finally vanished. The devil had obeyed. The lover had died. But as her last breath faded, something unseen slipped from her body. Something warm, luminous, and wrong. Far below the world, her soul opened its eyes. Azael did not leave the room when Alina died. He sat on the floor with her body in his arms long after the portal to hell sealed itself shut. Dawn crept in slowly, pale light touching her face like an apology that came too late. She looked peaceful. That was the cruelest part. Her blood had already cooled on his hands. He stared at them as if they belonged to someone else. Someone monstrous. Someone undeserving of the way her fingers had once traced his jaw. The way her lips had whispered his name like a prayer. I did what you asked, he said hoarsely to the empty room. I obeyed. Hell did not answer. The city woke up unaware. Cars passed. People lived. Somewhere, coffee brewed and laughter existed. The world moved on as if a love had not just been murdered by fate itself. Azael laid Alina gently on the bed and stood. The mark of command was gone from his chest, but its absence burned worse than its presence ever had. He felt hollow, like something vital had been ripped from him and never meant to be replaced. Then the air changed. Not hellfire, not shadow, something colder. A presence slipped through the cracks of reality, subtle and ancient. Azael turned sharply, instinct screaming. What did you do with her soul? He demanded. A whisper answered, not from the room, but from everywhere. She was claimed the moment she loved you. The floor beneath him darkened, reflecting a sky that did not belong to this world. For a brief, unbearable second, he saw her. Alina stood far away, suspended in a vast void of black glass and faint silver light. She looked whole, untouched, alive. Alina, he shouted. Her eyes found his. She smiled. That smile shattered what was left of him. I'm okay. Her voice echoed not in sound but in feeling. Don't come looking for me. He reached out, but the distance between them stretched infinitely. I will tear apart every realm to bring you back. She shook her head gently. That's why I can't stay. The truth hit him then, sharp and merciless. Her soul had not been taken as punishment. It had been taken as payment. Love freely given. Love freely destroyed. A balance even held respected. I don't regret loving you, she said softly. Promise me you won't regret it either. The void began to close. No, Azael whispered. Please. Her form faded like mist. I'll see you again, she said. Just not yet. The vision vanished. The apartment fell silent. Azael collapsed to his knees, a soundless scream ripping through him. Devils were not meant to grieve. Regret was a human weakness, yet it wrapped around him tighter than chains. Days passed, then weeks. The city whispered about the woman found dead in her apartment. No signs of struggle, no explanation. They never suspected the quiet man who vanished the same night. Azael walked the world afterward like a ghost. He fed when he had to. He spoke when required. But love, the thing hell had forbidden him, was gone, and hell noticed. One night, beneath a sky with no stars, a familiar voice returned. You are summoned. Azael smiled faintly. No, he said, for the first time in his existence. He refused. The ground trembled. Shadows rose. Punishment loomed. But Azael did not run. Take my power, he whispered. Take my immortality. Take everything. Silence followed. Then, laughter. Not cruel. Amused. Love has already ruined you, the voice said. There is nothing left to take. The shadows withdrew. Hell had no use for a devil who could no longer love. Years later, legend spread of a man seen standing at the same crossroads every winter night, staring into nothing, whispering a single name. And sometimes, only sometimes, when the world grew quiet enough, a soft warmth brushed past him, like fingers, like a kiss remembered. Azael closed his eyes. I'm waiting, he murmured. And somewhere beyond the veil, a soul smiled, because the devil had taken her life, but love had taken him, forever.